Jiu-Jitsu with Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jaylen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. Man open. Touchdown! Looking deep. He's got it there. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown! Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. And for the third offseason in a row, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Hicks, who has become running back university and a killer on these Twitter streets, bro. Welcome to the show, Nick. It's always a pleasure to have you on, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me, man.
Man, I mean, Nick, you saw me getting giddy backstage. I can't wait for this season. And before we get started here, every offseason we come here, we've talked about Tua, and everyone needs to stand up and give this man an applause because we got a taste of Tua's ceiling. We saw an MVP caliber player last year. And listen, not only do I say all the time, call me a homer, whatever, Tua's the hardest working player, let alone quarterback in the NFL right now. This man drives him. This man sets him up. And under this man's tutelage and guidance, we saw what we saw last year. And this year, we're going to see something historic. So I just want to say, brother, besides the ovation, thank you for, I've said this, man, I've texted you on Christmas and said thank you.
Yeah, man.
Another quarterback. I got to say it again because, man, listen, we're lifelong Dolphin fans. I know you are too. And we've been waiting since 13, hung up the aqua and orange for this, and you are a big part of it. And thank you for doing what you do, Nick, man. It's
Yeah, man. And again, I have my part, I have my place. I know what my job is every off season, and I'm just a tool that Tua uses, man. He's got a lot of different guys that are behind the scenes, man. Whether it's his chef, whether it's his manager Tweaks, whether it's Dave Palooka and Kyle at the facility, whether it's I mean, it's a supporting cast of receivers that come out there and work with him.
yeah.
He honestly has a great village that is allowing him to succeed. So I do appreciate you giving me some credit, man, but it's everybody, honestly.
Man, just going from the stories you were telling me about how he couldn't stand, barely on one hit. So now we're on one leg when he came to you. And so now where you see where he's at, and he's becoming a physical. And what I love about him, I've never seen a player who IDs things he needs to work on and attacks them so hard. And it's just, he just works to be better. He deserves greatness because he works for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I don't know how anyone can ever root against this kid. I'll never understand it. But let's start off. Last year, we talked about Nalu and the conversations you and Nalu had about the footwork and things to really, prep, things you were targeting going into this offseason. What were your targets with Tua, similar to last year, going into this offseason that you guys were focusing on? Because you got the footwork down last year. Baby. Oh, boy.
So, this offseason was pretty simple because we knew exactly what we had to work on, right? And it was staying on the field, being able to stay on the field and stay healthy. And the reason he wasn't on the field was obviously because of head injuries, right? And we all know that. We don't no need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought process was to figure out certain things to allow him to get better at those aspects. And I started thinking about martial arts. I started thinking about, lowering your center of gravity and becoming one with the earth, so to speak, so that you don't get thrown around like a rag doll. And I started talking to some friends because, I do train multiple different athletes or even sports, so to speak.
Yep.
So I do have some friends that are fighters. I have some friends that have done mixed martial arts, that do mixed martial arts. And I started picking their brains about it. And one of my really good friends, Corey, that I've known for a long time, I know that he does Jiu-Jitsu. And I immediately thought, let me call him, pitch him my idea, and see if there's some sort of crossover that could help. And I called him and I said, hey, look, man, I know that, when you're in jiu-jitsu, right, people get picked up, they get slammed, whether it's jiu-jitsu or judo, they get picked up, they get slammed, and they learn how to fall properly. That's kind of like the first thing. And, when you go there, like if I was to sign up at the jiu-jitsu studio down the street, the very first thing that they do would be break falling and falling mechanics. And I learned all this through research, just kind of figuring out, just doing my own little research and just having my brain kind of see what's out there, right? So I called my friend Corey, and Corey told me, bro, you're spot on. And I was like, all right, cool. So do me a favor, put together some sort of outline program. I'm going to come meet you at your studio with your instructor, whose name is Adrian, who's amazing. And I want you to put me through some stuff so I can actually feel it and see if this works. I'm a 34-year-old man. I haven't had contact sports. I haven't played contact football in 10 years now. And, for me doing things and jumping and tumbling and rolling and dispersing energy, it was very difficult. And I immediately was like, this is exactly what he needs. So I hit up his manager and I said, hey, look, I have an idea. It's a little out of the box, but I'd like to, pitch it this offseason. Because I think, yes, we need to get back in the weight room. Yes, we need to strengthen the neck. Yes, we need to do all these other things that pertain to football, but we also have to do this because there's some sort of disconnect happening as he's falling. There's no first nature way to disperse energy. And I'm not saying that everyone knows how to do it or should know how to do it.
Nope.
It just happened that it wasn't connecting with him. And the Tua that I know, that I've gotten to know for the last 3 years, whatever he's not good at, he's going to attack it and become obsessed until he's really good at it. Whether it's golf, whether it's reading defenses, whether it's cornhole. It doesn't matter, man. If he's not good at something, you better believe he's going to attack it
Can I
and make
suggest
sure.
something to you, Nick? Just
Yeah,
I
sure.
hate to cut you off, but you were just talking about the dispersing energy. I just want to throw my theory out with you that because I've
Yeah,
talked about it. In high school, he was the best athlete on the field.
yeah,
At Alabama, he was a really good athlete and he had a fantastic offensive line. He
yeah,
never really had to worry about taking hits and
yeah,
falling unless he overextended a play, right? Like
yeah,
it was never. That's why he was he was the best. You remember, you've seen the highlights of him in Hawaii. I think I would run around the
yeah,
field, and he was the
yeah,
best athlete on the field, right? So
yeah.
maybe that's what I don't know, but I just wanted to pitch that too.
No, I
'Cause,
mean that's
you know,
exactly if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Now, I guess
exactly.
that's the saying. It's kind of funny, cliche saying, but yeah, you're 100% right. So, him running into these issues this year, being pushed down and kind of just letting his body fall to the ground and hit his head, or whether he's rolling out and getting tackled and kind of just letting his body whiplash to the ground, right? Those are things that are easily corrected
Mhm.
if you just teach someone how to do it. So, again, after my first session, I was like, man, this is exactly what he needs because I don't even have any idea what the hell I'm doing. And at the end of the session, I felt so much more comfortable. I could jump in the air, do a front flip, and roll out of it and pop up just because I understood how to disperse my energy properly.
Yeah.
So again, I pitched it to his manager, and he's like, "Dude, I think it sounds great, but obviously it's to his decision if he wants to do it." So I shot him a text, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'd like to have our offseason meeting and go over some things that I think that we need to work on." And he's like, "Sounds good, bro. I can't wait. I'm very excited to get going at this offseason." I was like, "Me too." So we had our meeting. We sat down. We talked about things that we thought we could work on, and obviously the mundane things, the basic things, is keeping his legs in more conditioned and being able to run after a play and extend plays, and obviously keep footwork and keeping the lower base strong and increasing arm velocity, so on and so forth. But I told him, I was like, look, man, I've got this friend of mine who I trust dearly and I've known him for a long time. And I went and did a session at his jiu-jitsu studio with his instructor. And I really think that jiu-jitsu will work. The jiu-jitsu philosophy stems from judo, and judo is takedown defense and also slamming, right? So
Mhm.
takedown defense and offense. And I just figured it would be great. And he was like, "Bro, whatever you want to do, let's do. Like whatever you think is gonna work, I'm in. Like I trust you. Let's go." So then I called his dad and I told his dad about it, and his dad was all gun ho about it and excited about it. And there we go, man. And we started to do it, and he loved it. I did it every session with him. He obviously did a little
That's
bit
awesome.
more towards the end of the program, but Corey and Adrian were amazing, and it became something that he loved doing, and I'm sure he's going to continue doing it forever.
That's awesome.
So much so that he told his coaches about it, and the coaches actually brought the instructors over to the facility to do it now, and they're doing it with the other quarterbacks, Mike and Skylar. So and it's crazy. I mean, I have a lot of footage that I don't really care to release to anybody. It doesn't really matter. We have it so that he can look back at certain ways that he can get better or how far he's come, so on and so forth. But it's so cool to see there's Coach AJ,
There's
100%.
Coach A.
So AJ is one of my good friends. He actually works out at Per4orm. He's one of the instructors as well at the same jiu-jitsu studio, and I did not know that. So I found that out along the way. AJ, love you, bro. Appreciate you. But yeah, so having that hunger to get better at this thing that he wasn't good at, and then him becoming obsessed with it, and then doing it in the living room of his house every single night, and going to the next jujitsu session and just being so much better. And they're like, bro, like what, like how did you get better? Like 2 days ago, this was something that was foreign to you, but now you're mastering it. And it's a testament to who Tua is and how his brain
That's
operates and
awesome.
and the kind of competitor he is, because if he's not good at it, you could tell, man. Like he was like, dude, fuck, man, like why can't I get this? So watching him grow in that space this offseason is probably my favorite memory, because it wasn't football, it wasn't throwing, it wasn't a distance program, it wasn't off platform throws, it wasn't him scrambling. It was something very unique that I firmly believe is going to transcend past anything that we ever thought it would be. I think it's something that he's going to translate to the field this year, but then also carry it around through his entire career. Because jiu-jitsu and judo, not only do you learn how to fall, people think, oh, how do you not know how to fall? That's so crazy. That's not all that he learned how to do. When you're grappling with somebody, you have this constant feeling of how do I escape, or how do I make sure that I get out of a vulnerable situation, right? So is that not pocket awareness? Is that not
And
being in the,
elusiveness.
you know what I mean? So him grappling with somebody who is putting together a plan in their mind on how to attack this guy and pin him.
He's already elite, and he's already elite pocket awareness. That's what's crazy. There's another level.
Exactly, man. So I'm very excited about it,
Wow.
and I know that he is too. And obviously, he is, because he talked about it with the team, and the team decided to run with it. And shout out to those guys too, because of how open they are and how much they trust me. I got to know those guys this offseason, Dave and Kyle. Dave is the head strength coach, and then Kyle is the head athletic trainer, and got to know them, and talking with them and really seeing how they trust what I bring to the table means a lot. It means a lot, especially because I didn't know them before this offseason, but knowing that Tua has told them about me, and that they respect me, and I obviously respect them and what they do. We've been able to build a great relationship this offseason, and I appreciate that.
Listen, I mean, this respect has been well earned by you. I mean, you got to remember, I was a guy over here on YouTube breaking down the film and saying, listen, here's the flashes. All you need to do is this, put this around him, and you got something. You got a franchise quarterback here, while you're in the background working what you're working, taking all the hail, fire, and brimstone that all these different social media outlets are throwing at our quarterback, including some people from our own fan base. And now to see the ceiling we all knew this kid have start to just break through. It's really incredible, and especially when he's wearing our colors, man. We've been, like I said, man, we've been waiting for this since Marino hung it up. So, let's talk about him. Is this I'm telling you, man, I don't know what people are talking about with the little, digs and jabs about the way he looks right now. People are trying to make off like he's big or something like that, when I think he looks like he's in the best shape of his life. Would you say he's in the best shape of his life? Because he looks it, man. His neck looks he looks like he really focused on strengthening the neck as well. Right. So talk about where he's at.
I've seen the tweets, and I've seen people talk, oh, he looks overweight, he looks fat,
he looks ripped, my friend.
He's 225 pounds. He is very strong. And that was the goal this offseason, to be very strong and stout, and not be able to just get grabbed and thrown down to the ground, like he has had done before. You during a program, right? You want to build up to a certain spot or a certain goal, because once camp hits and once OTAs hit, and once the season hits, you start to atrophy. You lose a little bit of weight. You lose a little bit of strength. You lose a little bit of size. So our goal was to get him very big and strong, all while keeping him fluid and mobile. He can still run. Trust me, he can still run. He's very fast. He's got great feet. He's got quick feet. But he is big. And he's putting up some crazy numbers. He's PRing in the weight room. And a lot of people say, oh, quarterbacks don't need that. And not every quarterback is the same. Not every quarterback is built the same, right? Tua is obviously very unique in his build. He's not the tallest guy, He's obviously not, this super ripped, shredded guy. He's Samoan. So, the genetics are against him. Now, is he fat? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's probably at 10% body fat right now, which is very good for him.
I was actually going to guess 9%, but okay, I'll take 10%.
Which is very, very good for him. His legs are the strongest he's ever been. I mean, he was pulling weights off the ground this year that I couldn't believe. His upper body is very strong. His posterior chain is very strong. His neck is insanely strong. We had a multiple different neck programs or certain things that we're doing this offseason with him. And I mean, bro, I was the one who was doing manual neck resistance on him once a week. And I'm trying to push this guy's neck down, and he's just stalemating me. And
Wow.
I'm trying to push it. So, I mean, and I physically felt engaged how strong his neck got this offseason because of the manual stuff. And then as well as doing cable work with this headset that he's got, and just doing 4-way neck and 8-way neck and isometric holds and doing all sorts of really cool stuff, man. So, he's put the work in. The offseason's not done, by the way. We've got OTAs now. The OTAs should be done, I think, this week or
Yeah,
maybe
they are.
next week. And then we're back to training. So, and
Yeah.
we've got another 4 weeks after that. So, it's not done. We're exactly where we want to be. The strength coaches for the Dolphins are very happy with the work that he's put in this offseason. They're insanely impressed with the strength gains that he showed. He's putting up weights in the weight room that they never in a million years thought he could. So, and I mean, he's taking control. He's taking control. Him being a dad and a husband and just kind of taking that next level of maturity this offseason really flowed over into our program. I mean, we were doing jiu-jitsu once or twice a week. We were doing yoga once or twice a week. We were lifting weights four times a week. We're in the field 4 times a week. I mean, the only day we ever had off was on Sunday. And on Sundays he was doing regen stuff with some meditation. I mean, he's got a cold plunge. He's got a cold plunge that he's got now that he does every single morning. First thing he does when he wakes up. Then he meditates. Then he has breakfast, spends time with his family. Then we get to the gym. I mean, his program this year is very
Sounds like he's taking his body very, very seriously.
Yeah, man, because you take a lot of things for granted, and the fact that he's got another chance to redeem himself and show the world that he is an elite football player. He's running with it. So it was a cool off season just because I saw growth in him as a man and professional, and just I mean, you hear McDaniel talk about it every single day when he's at the podium. He's never seen somebody work this hard to get to where he has to be or wants to be. So, I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm excited from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 to now year 4, right? It's, I've been very excited about the outcome of what this offseason looks like, but sky's the limit now, man. And, I can get giddy and I can get very emotional and say he's going to throw 50 touchdowns, but man, I just know that he's going to impress everybody tenfold, and he's going to do it with a style in which it's going to be like, wow, this kid's been there before. This kid manifested this. This kid is exactly where he thought he would be, and no one else thought. This is what he thought he was going to accomplish. And there's maybe a few guys like you and myself, Jordan, but it's he doesn't really care. He's focused on a man. He's focusing on accomplishing what he has manifested, and that's playing 20 games.
Yep. Bye week, people. We're winning the division. All right. This is a 15-win team if this guy's healthy. I'm sorry. Okay. A few things here. I just wanted to, I don't know if you heard, but when Scott Peters of Tip of the Spear was really, giving Tua and your camp credit for what you guys were doing, because I mean he did jiu-jitsu training and the whole energy distribution and everything like that. He did that with the offensive line, and it was the first year that they had never had even a single stinger on the offensive line, and so it's proven. And then something I wanted to ask you: we've seen it every year; it's gotten noticeable every year. Have we seen it? You're the only one who can answer this right now until we see him in action. Have you noticed an even further improvement on his velocity? Because it's gotten better every year.
Oh my God, dude, he's humming it. It's crazy. He's humming it. Emphasis that we had this off season on pertaining to throwing was hitting opposite hash 25-yard outs, and throwing those on a rope. And bro, he's humming it right now, dude. I can't wait to watch it happen because that was something that I thought was a weakness of his. But yeah, dude, just throwing just balls on a rope.
Opposite hash?
Yeah, dude, the receivers are so fast. And I mean,
it's like 45 yards, bro. That's a tough throw, man.
Yeah, and he's making them. It's funny, man. I was out there with him and Jaylen one day, and they were working on those exact throws. And I was like, well, what are y'all? What is this? And they're like, yo, bro, these are some of the route concepts that we have installed. And he's like, they're crazy. He's like, it'll be zip motion all the way across the formation. And then as the ball snaps, you're turning vertical and you're rolling at 20 yards to 25 yards, catching an out route from the opposite hash. It's crazy, man. The route concepts that they have, that they're hoping to put together this year, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really cool. I thought it was. I was like, what are you guys doing, man? We were on a grass field that didn't have lines, and I was like, you guys right with your depths because that's a long throw. Are you trying to do like a 12-yard big out? They're like, no, no, we're doing 25-yard out. It was crazy.
Jeez. Let's speak of the receivers because you had a lot of guys come out this year.
Yeah.
By any chance, how much did you see Erik Ezukanma this year? Because I know he was putting in the work. He looks like he's built up the chemistry
Erik,
a little bit.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He did not train with us. He trains at another facility down here in South Florida. Good kid. He came out to the throwing sessions.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of length, man. What I noticed about him was his range. Tua can throw a ball 12 feet in the air. He's going to go up and get it. It's very impressive. Or he throws. I mean, he can throw a ball, 4 yards outside of his frame, going to the sideline, and he stretches out somehow, some way, and gets it. That's one thing that I really noticed about Erik when he came out and did some route running with us.
Good. That's nice to hear, man.
Yeah.
What about River? Because I think River's making. Listen, I think they'd move Cedrick Wilson to make room for. I've got River locked in as my 6. I'm gonna tell you right now: Hill, Waddle, Chosen, Braxton, Ezukanma, and River. I just don't see. I don't see a fit for Cedrick, but River, we know this staff loves him. Hey, he was a wide receiver 3 until Trent locked that position down last year, and Tua loves him. You've seen it in game.
River has a trainer in California. His name is Les Spellman. Him and I have become great friends over the past couple of years because we both respect each other's work.
Okay.
Les is a speed guru. Les has a huge following. He's a great, great, great coach and trainer. And him and I connect every single year in Indianapolis. He's got his pre-draft guys. I have mine. We connect out there. It's kind of like the annual meet and greet for trainers, right? And we were talking and this and that. And he goes, hey, man, look, River's going to stay down there in South Florida this offseason. And, I love your work and I trust your work. I'd love to connect you guys. So he connected us. And then River was with us all offseason. Man, he put in the work. He got so much faster, so much stronger. He worked on multiple different aspects of his game and his route running. And the fact that he had full access to Tua the entire time to talk with Tua and do things with Tua was huge for him. River had an amazing offseason. I'm really, really happy that he was with us because I got to know him as a person. Great kid. And one thing that I actually heard from Tua about him was that, man, he is so quarterback friendly. He's so quarterback friendly. You know exactly where he's going to be. You know exactly when he's going to put on the brakes and sit in the void. You know exactly what River is thinking all the time.
Smart player.
And I think that's a testament to his career at Washington State, when he played under Mike Leach, because he told me that he goes, man, that offense, they threw the ball every play. And it really was almost like flood concepts everywhere. And you had to find the void and the quarterback was just going to find you. So you had to get a good feel. It really wasn't like, hey, look, this is where you're going and this is what's happening. It was more so like, all right, guys, these 3 receivers here are going to flood across the back end and just find the void and sit there. And the quarterback will find you, which allows you to learn how to play with defenses and play with defenders and become a very quarterback-friendly wide receiver,
That's really, really interesting. Who else? What other? There was a lot. I noticed almost everyone was coming out this offseason with y'all at some point, right? How did Jaylen look? Jaylen looks ripped, eh?
Yeah, Jaylen looks good. So Jaylen doesn't train with us either. Again, I don't want to take credit for Jaylen.
No.
Again, I'm not taking credit for really anybody. But Jaylen and I, every time we're throwing with the receivers, Jaylen's out there. And Jaylen and I have gotten to know each other, and I love Jaylen. It's so crazy because I'll be out there playing corner, and I'm just kind of giving them a landmark. Say, hey, look, man, I'm playing 6 yards off inside. What are you doing? And being able to visually see Jaylen, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill coming off the line full speed at you, it's insanely intimidating. And it makes sense. It makes sense as to what we see on Sundays. But Jaylen, man, credit to Devon Achane, who is an amazing, probably in my eyes, he is the best position-specific skills trainer for wide receivers in the country. He was actually my client and did pre-draft training with me, man, 7 years ago now, and we've stayed in contact. He's family. He does all my receiver stuff for pre-draft stuff, and he works with Jaylen in the offseason. And just watching him move and seeing the things that I know that Tevin teaches and watching Jaylen take that and run with it, super cool, man. And again, it's cool to be there and actually watch these guys put the work in and ask questions. Like, for example, Tyreek, man, like we were doing 18-yard daggers, which is basically a full speed dig that you slam on the brakes at 15 and you roll it to 18 yards and you kind of, split you're in between the safeties and the linebackers. And, they were doing it multiple different ways with an off man or with a man coverage or with the safety that's down in the box. And he was asking me, hey, man, what would you do in this situation? So when Tyreek Hill is asking you, how would you coach him up and what would you do? To me, that just shows
the level of respect, my friend.
An amazing group of guys that the Dolphins have, because Tyreek don't know me from a can of paint. He met me that day. And it's so funny because he gets out the car and I'm warming the guys up. I'm like, what's going on, man? My name is Nick. Nice to meet you. He's like, oh, you that white boy that trains Dalvin Cook and them boys, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I was like, if you want to jump into warm up, he goes, oh, no, I don't warm up. And I'm like, what? He goes, I don't warm up. He literally put his cleats on and started running go balls full speed. It was like the myth of Tyreek Hill is real, by the way. Couldn't believe it. And you that guy on IG that does a lot of running back stuff, right? Oh yeah, what's up, bro? Nice to meet you. So as we're getting into it, and I'm talking to the guys through certain concepts, and I'm telling Tua, hey, do this with a hitch or let's do RPO action. No, he's like, oh shit, this guy knows a little bit about what he's talking about. And so then he was asking me, so what would you do? Hey, look, man, if you're playing man coverage here and you're riding my hip the entire time, but you're on top of me at the top of my route, what would you do? Would you break down and go under, or would you run with speed over the top? And I'm like, bro, you're Tyreek Hill. You just asked me, would you run with speed over the top? You're going to roll it with speed and burn past me. And that's when it kind of clicked with me. Oh, you're right. Boom, boom, boom. Because everyone else is kind of chopping at the bottom, swiping and coming through. I'm like, Tyreek, use your speed, put your foot in the ground, bend it. That's how we got to do it. And the reps were clean, man.
Wow, that's all. That's
yeah,
and they're so humble, eh? Like even
yeah,
dude, he's arguably the greatest athlete that the NFL's ever seen.
Yeah.
And just because he respects your opinion, there's guys where Terrell Owens wouldn't be a guy that would say like, what would you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. I wanted to ask you, who, in your professional opinion, who's winning, Waddle or Hill?
Bro, Tyreek Hill's so fast, bro. It's Tyreek Hill all day. I don't think anyone in the world can beat Tyreek Hill.
You don't think Achane stands a chance?
No.
You heard Achane said he clocked at 26 miles per hour, huh?
Yeah, but I think Tyreek Hill runs as fast as he needs to. I think he just runs as fast as he needs to. And he doesn't warm up. Could you imagine if he warmed up? Could you imagine? So, I mean, look, Tyreek's speed is crazy. And watching him, he's got a Ferrari engine with a Bugatti brake system, right? Most guys that have Ferrari engines, like top-end speed guys, they have Toyota Corolla brake systems. Well, this dude gets full speed, slams it down, gets out of it. It's pretty crazy to watch, man. And then also had some running backs from the Dolphins this year. We had Alec Ingold and Raheem Mostert. Those guys. I mean, Alec was every single day, didn't miss a day, didn't miss a minute guy for 2.5 months. Love him to death. Him and I have become some pretty good friends.
Good. That's awesome.
He's just such a intellect and has so much life experience. He's a writer. He's a speaker.
Yeah, did he write a book? Didn't he just drop a book?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's called The 7 Crucibles. And it's basically the 7 things that he went through during his ACL rehab process after he tore his ACL his rookie year. I think it was after his rookie year. I'm not too sure. But that then turned to a book a tour date and book release, and now he's a speaker and he's speaking. He's like the keynote speaker at college graduations, and I'm actually going to a almost like a I'm not sure if it's like a character building thing for men on Father's Day weekend, but he has an event that is free with Lululemon, and he's going and talking, and it's really like character development and just being a better person and a better man, and so on and so forth. So I'll actually be at that to support him and hear him out. He's awesome, man.
He's
He
a
really
scholar
is.
and a gentleman, isn't he? That's what he sounds like.
Dude, and he's such a football guy,
He's
loves the
awesome,
game,
bro.
loves
I
the
loved
game,
him in
so
Oakland.
coachable,
Loved him.
and
Yeah.
he's an absolute lunatic when he's puts the chin strap on, man. And I have nothing but respect for him. And I told him, I said, I'm not a gambling man, but I will make sure that I put some money on anytime touchdown Alec Ingold this season, because he has gotten so much more fluid with things and in and out of breaks and cuts, and he's so much faster, and he just looks like he's in amazing shape. And I know the Dolphins are going to use him, every which way they can.
Yeah, he's pro.
Yep.
He's absolutely fantastic. How are some of your other running backs doing there? How's is Dalvin Cook in good shape right now? How's what's
Dalvin's
his
in
body
great
like?
shape. So I haven't seen Dalvin at all this offseason. He finally decided to get his shoulder worked on. He had a torn labrum. He's been holding off on that for 3 years, which I do think affected his play. And he finally decided to get it done. And just 10 days ago, maybe 14 now, he finally got cleared to do activity and run and do stuff like that. So he was out of town last week. He's back in town, and we plan on keep working to figure out, get him ready for the season.
Let's see. Hey, man, Miami Dolphins aside, let's just ask from a Minnesota
Yeah.
perspective. Do you expect them to be a Viking in 2023? Because we've heard so many conflicting reports that they want him and blah, blah, blah. Do you expect him to be a Viking?
So, it's so crazy, man. I was sitting there with him in my office, and we have like a lounge area with a couch and a TV, and we're sitting there talking about football. And all of a sudden on ESPN, they're talking about, and Dalvin Cook is not on the header of
Twitter.
The
They put Madison.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. And they literally went on like a 5-minute rant about it. And it was, and I was sitting there with him looking at it. And it was kind of weird. It was like a surreal moment watching somebody that I know, that's my friend, get talked about on TV, sitting right there next to him, right?
Yeah.
And he hadn't seen this yet. And he was kind of like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You ready to go get our lift in? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And that was kind of like the gist of the story. So
yeah, man.
I don't know. I know he's got a love for Minnesota. He'll always have a love for Minnesota. They took a chance on him. He's had an amazing career there. But who knows? I know that he's a South Florida boy through and through, and he wants to be here, and he wants to wear that aqua and orange, and he wants to end his career here. And I mean, if push came to shove and offers are on the table, I know 100% in my heart that he would be a Miami Dolphin. That's not even if every team in the NFL offered him the same exact contract, or even if every team in the NFL offered him and the Dolphins had a little bit less on the table, I believe he'd pick the Miami Dolphins because he loves this team. He loves this city. He owes everything that he's ever had in this world to the city of Miami, and he'd love nothing more than to be here for the next 5 years.
I go back to when you talked about the shoulder, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's another level to this guy, and look at the numbers he's been putting up the 3 years with that bad shoulder.
Bro, and if people tell you,
have you seen people try to put up analytics? Oh, he's not. I'm like, bro, are you?
If somebody tries to tell you, now I'm gonna get fiery. If somebody tries to tell you you don't need a Dalvin Cook on your football team, our running back room is good, they're smoking blue crack from Breaking Bad. They're blue heroin. They're 100%. On the craziest of crazy. You've lost your mind.
Listen,
Dalvin Cook makes any running back room in the world better.
Elite.
Did they not see him last year? Catch screen passes and take him 65 yards when they're down, ending football games. Didn't they watch the Miami Dolphins try to come back against the Vikings and watch him scamper for 70 for a touchdown? Like, are you guys? Don't tell me that. Don't feed me that. And the running backs in that room know that Dalvin Cook is always welcome. They all know because every running back in the Miami Dolphins wants to win football games. So I'm gonna tone it back down. I'm not gonna get fired up again.
Raheem Mostert's your client. I'm gonna ask you about him because I think
Raheem.
I think he's
Raheem.
awesome. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. Listen, we don't know what Achane is. Okay,
Yep.
Raheem and everyone else are on 1-year deals, and I'll keep it a buck. You could put them all together, take away Achane, put them all together. That ain't Dalvin Cook. And I'm not hating on no one. Dalvin Cook is an elite running back. Raheem Mostert has elite traits, but he is an elite running back. Like,
Raheem,
you know what I mean?
Raheem is elite, bro. Raheem is good. Dalvin Cook's a potential Hall of Famer, man.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like that. He's on the cusp of Hall of Fame.
If he comes and wins a chip here, he's a first balloter, bro. I'm telling you right now.
I love Raheem. Raheem's amazing, bro. Raheem is a great football. Raheem,
he's awesome, bro.
Almost willed us to the playoffs last year with a broken thumb. I mean, and Savon's amazing. Savon's a great player. Jeff Wilson, I've never met Jeff. I don't know Jeff. Jeff's a baller, bro. I went to the Chicago game, and he immediately came in and balled. Achane, stud. I've heard nothing but amazing things about them. Again, I'm very, very happy with this running back room. But no one in the right mind thinks that running back room couldn't use a Dalvin Cook.
I agree.
That's just absurd.
There's just absurd. There's no like other than Achane, there's really actually no long-term plan to. Again, everyone's on a 1-year deal, right?
100%.
So, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You talked about his pass catching ability. I think Devon Achane's about to enter the league and be one of the best pass catching running backs in the NFL too. And you had two guys that can, they can switch it up. And we talked about how Achane can't, that's not a guy you're going to lean on third down. Well, Dalvin Cook's a guy you lean on third down, and he can also catch balls on first and second down and run. Like we would just, I think Dalvin Cook would give us the best running back room in the NFL.
My God, man!
I truly believe, and I think we'd be the best offense in the NFL.
We'd have the best offense. He just jinxed. We'd have the best offense.
Who's your fastest running back you train?
Probably Raheem. Raheem's a blazer. He's junior Olympian, national champ, track at Purdue. I mean, Raheem runs.
Yeah.
Raheem can roll.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that Achane decides to come and get some work with us.
So am I.
This offseason, because I know that he's a roller. He's a burner. But I mean, JK, I haven't seen JK this offseason. He's actually has a family now, and him and I just have some plans to link up very soon, though. Me flying out to Houston to work with him. But JK's a burner. I mean, they all got specific and special speed, but Dalvin's a fast. Dalvin still got it, man. I know that Dalvin didn't run great in Indianapolis, when he had the combine, but you've seen him. How many big plays did he have last year?
Oh yeah, bro. He's a stud.
Just
he's a home run hitter.
Running by people. Hitter. So.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about Raheem, because it was clearly obvious. You know what it is when you're removed from the injury he was. You're usually not as back to normal as quickly as he was back on the field. I've been telling people, Dalvin aside, Achane aside, I think Raheem's going to be more of a home run hitter than he was last year.
Yeah,
because 100%. I think he's probably. Do you think he's healthier than he was going into last season, into this season?
Yeah, he had a very particular knee injury, man. He had that little microfracture. Which is it's not little. It's crazy. It's sometimes worse than an ACL. It could end your career.
Yeah.
And he had to rehab that last year. And with those type of injuries, you can't afford any setbacks. 0 setbacks. So he couldn't do really anything. He was with the Dolphins training staff and did an amazing job of getting him back to healthy and then monitoring his volume. And then they did the same this offseason as well. Raheem trained with us half the time, and then we was at the Dolphins facility half the time, because again, the relationship that I built with Dave and Kyle, there needs to be specificity for certain guys, and with Raheem's situation and the severity of what happened with his knee, he needed that, and I'm 100% okay with that. I don't have this ego to where like, yo, I need you to be with me the entire offseason. No, what the best plan is for the particular player. It's what the best plan is, and we're going to go with that, So Raheem was with us half the time, and he was at the facility half the time. But from what I've seen, he has taken very, very drastic steps in his health, and he's got that pop. He's got that big play ability again, and I'm excited as hell to watch him. Raheem is an amazing person. He had his toy drive at my gym in December, and just watching him interact with kids and people, and going to hockey games. I went to a couple Panthers games with him and some of the players, and just watching him just kind of float around and be this dude. And like we had, I don't even know what, I think it was Buffalo. We were at a Sabres. It was Panthers Sabres. And we had a bunch of Bills fans in front of us, all wearing Josh Allen jerseys. And they all wanted a pick with Raheem. And he took a pick with them. Like, and I was like, bro, I mean, I would have been like, yeah, right, kick rocks, take that jersey off, bro, but Raheem was like, yeah, what's up? Let's go. It was cool. So he's an awesome dude, man. And he's even an amazing football player. So I know that he's done everything that he can this offseason to get back to the Raheem from, the Niners days when he was running a million miles per hour and just breaking long runs. So again, this running back room is going to be amazing. And I saw a stat, running backs aside, I saw a stat about second-year Mike McDaniel offenses have taken huge steps in their running game. The leap in the running game. Imagine having all these tools, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say you want to go 4 wide, and you've got Tyreek here, you got Jaylen here, you got Robbie Anderson, Chosen Anderson here, and you've got Achane in the slot. Then you have Dalvin in the backfield, right? And you've got 4 verts. And what Tua is doing is looking at certain coverages and finding that. And if it's not there, he's going to dump it off to Dalvin, who has game breaker speed and playmaking ability. I mean, having Dalvin in the offense, or even just Raheem dumping it off, it's different too. I mean,
and Achane
there's
too,
so
right?
many guys. Well, Achane to be in the slot running 4 verts because he's the fastest human alive apparently, and he apparently has the greatest hands ever. He's making every catch. He's catching one-handed balls outside of his frame. So again, the offense would be amazing, especially with Tua, who, man, again, we talked about him earlier. I know that when we've all seen it, when this guy has weapons, he uses them all. He uses every single one of them. He shares it around, So
some of his best games were when Tyreek only had about 60 yards and he was hitting about 10 or 11 different receivers, right? Did it against Chicago. Man. I believe he did it against Chicago. And I still say that Detroit game, like that Gesicki throw in the back of the top, like that guy went through 4 reads, then decides to make the toughest throw on the field to the back of the end zone on my God, man.
Detroit was the hottest football team in the NFL that week, or building up to that. They were unstoppable. They were beating everybody, right? They were losing on last second, whatever, but they were hot. They were rolling. Offense was clicking. They drive down, they'd score. We drive down, we'd score. It was just back and forth until one offense stalled, and guess what? Ours did.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
That was an unbelievable performance, man. I got a couple things I want to ask you before. I got a couple things I want to ask you, 2 more things, and then I got a couple questions from viewers that I think are pretty good questions. How
many viewers you got going on?
Right now we have about 756 people in the room. So
that's dope.
Smash the like button if you can. I appreciate that.
Send $20. Come on, send $20. Let's go.
I think the camera onto his helmet is another brilliant move, and it's been something that the first ever time they put a camera on a quarterback's helmet was Denver in the 60s. That's how long this has been happening for. Tom Brady did in 2014. They won the Super Bowl that year. Big Ben and Russell Wilson.
Your boy was talking trash about it, I saw.
Not my boy. So, we talk about, I just think it's another layer of Tua and McDaniel trying to get Tua just better at his craft. More people, more eyes. What do you think about? Because I think it's just another brilliant. And I think this is going to be something a lot of teams start picking up more.
Or it's another tool to help the quarterback room get better, because now they're seeing what Tua's progressions are. Now they're hearing Tua locate pre-snap safeties and linebackers and edge rushers, that because there's a microphone on there too. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's helping Tua get better, or maybe it's so that they can use it to show Mike and Skyler that, hey, look, these are the progressions we're looking for. This is the guys that we want to identify pre-snap. It doesn't always have to be an aid towards Tua. It could be an aid towards everyone else because of Tua playing at such a high level. And people don't understand that.
That's a very, very good point. That is a very good point. And Nick Barkley says he hopes the team gets you a ring after the Super Bowl.
Nah, I don't need that, bro. I just want to go to the Super Bowl and enjoy it and cry after we win.
And Bentley says, tell me more about Tua, Hicks. And I'm going to say this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Okay.
Okay.
Because we go back to Tua's rookie year. Let me take you down a little timeline here. Starts off against the Rams, right? Remember who the defensive coordinator of the Rams was? Staley, okay? Yep. He struggled also that year against the Denver Broncos, all right? Yep. Fangio. You go to this year, right? We didn't start seeing problems until D'Amico Ryans ran a form of what defense that's been installed there since Harbaugh? Fangio's defense, running a form of it. They started taking away the middle of the field. Staley saw they did that and said, I got to add another layer to that. I just can't take away the middle of the field because Tua was having an off day. The throws were there. Tua just had an off day. And Staley saw that. So that's why they're like, we can't just take it away. We got to start rerouting guys because no one's done that yet. So they added another layer to that. But again, we're talking about Fangio defense, disciples of the Fangio defense. Fangio is in the building now, Nick. This man kills the blitz. This man kills press and man coverage. Why? Because that's what he saw under Flores. Now we've got the Godfather who's got the keys to unlock all these defenses. And Nick, 11 teams in the NFL run a form of his defense. And this is like, to me, this feels like the last remaining key to unlock. And then he's figured out every basic defense you can throw at him on a professional level. If that doesn't excite, what are your thoughts on that? Because I don't think enough people are talking about that's why we're going to be historic because there ain't nothing you can throw at him. Yeah, man. The Vic Fangio signing, is it a signing? You signed the coach? Is that acquisition? Sure. The Vic Fangio acquisition for me was the one I was most nervous about because remember, it was like, oh, he's coming. Oh, he's not. He might go here, might go there. I was like, man, because look, again, watching defense last year crushed me. 3rd and 19, 3rd and 26, we weren't safe. I wasn't like, all right, cool, offense, get ready. I was like, oh my God, they're going to convert every single time. And we have the pieces. Bradley Chubb, for me, didn't do what we needed him to do last year. But again, was it really on him or was it with the system? Was it, so having Vic Fangio not only makes our defense better and allows me to sleep comfortably on Saturdays before Sundays, but every single day throughout the week, he's going to be getting Tua better. Yep. He's going to be getting that offense better. He's going to get the offensive line better. He's going to get the receivers better. He's going to get that entire team better. And I mean, it's exactly what we needed. It's the home run that the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, Tyreek Hill was amazing. Getting him was awesome. But signing Vic Fangio or acquisitioning Vic Fangio, it's probably one of the biggest moves I've ever seen the Dolphins make. In my entire fandom. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's so funny. I was at the golf course and Ramsey, Nick.
Ramsey, Nick. Jaylen Ramsey, I'm a Florida State guy, so watching Jaylen play, you know how many times I sat in front of a TV watching him just rock somebody as he was the Rams or pick a ball off and just just completely get in somebody's face and talk trash. You know how many times I sat there and said, man, why can't we get a guy like this? Why can't one of my favorite college players of all time be a Miami Dolphin? Like Dalvin, right? Like I watched Dalvin like at the peak of my Florida State fandom. Yeah, we didn't win national championships, right? But we did beat the Hurricanes for a million years in a row. He rushed for 1,000 yards every Hurricane game. He was so dependable. He made the offensive line look great. And I'm like, why can't we get a guy like this? Why can't this guy become a player on the Miami Dolphins? And I never in a million years thought that Jaylen would be here. And that's why I think Dalvin is a huge possibility, man. But yeah, again, back to the defense. It's going to be.
You're going to say you're on the golf course. Yeah, you're going to say you're on the golf course.
I was on the golf course. I was going to play golf last Friday. I'm not going to tell you the golf course I was at, but we were on a rain delay. So everyone was on the putting green, just putting, and I looked over, and there's Vic Fangio putting. This guy has his shorts pulled up to right under his breast pad, like old school Italian.
He's embraced Florida, baby.
Oh my God, he's out there, and He's draining putts, 15-foot putts, back to back to back, draining them. And I wanted to go say something to him, but I was like, you know what? He's in the zone. He's putting. It is what it is. But watching this guy, I was like, holy shit, that's Vic Fangio. And he was draining 15-foot practice putts on the putting green. And, you know, I said, what's going on, coach? How are you? And he was just like, I'm good. How are you? I'd love to golf today. That's what he said. I'd love to get out and golf today. But ended up catching a lightning alarm, and they got us all off the green. And we went inside and ended up leaving. But I was like, holy shit, what's up? You know,
That's
Vic
amazing.
Fangio, draining putts in the zone with his shorts pulled up higher than I've ever seen, like ever. You know, just ready to golf, man. And he was
awesome,
ready.
man.
Good. Unfortunately, we didn't get out there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Rhino says to you, thanks, Reason and Nick, for taking the time to do this. Please, if you can, let Tua and his family know
he knows
how much support they have from the real Dolphin fans.
He knows, dude. He knows, man. Trust me. He knows his fan base loves him, and that's all that needs to be said.
For sure. I got a couple
He loves
questions
this place. Yeah.
From my Patreons and the channel members. Nick Pandoff says, how did you start working with all of these famous athletes?
I've been doing this for a long time, 10 years. My very first big name athlete was Rashard Matthews, actually, Miami Dolphins wide receiver. Wow. He, I don't even know how he got in contact with me, man, but he had seen me on Instagram and he liked what I was doing, and he didn't like groups. He wanted to do one-on-one. He was my very first big time guy. And I appreciate him for that, because he didn't have to come train with some no-name dude. And he did. And he had some really good years. The second year that I was training him, he was with the Titans, and he had some really good years. So yeah, man, it's really a accumulation of hard work and just being good to people and taking care of people and worrying about people and going to practices and going to games and staying in touch with parents. And again, like the big name guys is such a small little aspect of what we do at Per4orm. You know, we have 350 fitness members. We have over 1,000 youth and high school athletes that we train, you know, annually. We have hundreds of college athletes that we train that always come down for the summers. You know, I'd say we probably have 25 consistent NFL guys, and then another 50 that come for maybe a week or two during the off season. So again, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been doing good work. And you know, if you follow me on Twitter and you see me go on rants, not only about Tua, but other athletes that I train, look, I have your back, man. If you decide to train with me and devote your off season to how I think you can get better, or I can get you better, or we can get you better, then I'm going to have your back through and through. And, you know, it goes to just building relationships with agents, and agents believing in the work and seeing the work that's put in translate to the field, and their players having Pro Bowl seasons after working with us, or, you know, working on certain things in off season and completely dominating that aspect that we worked on for that next season. And again, it's 10 years of hard work and just really putting time into people.
You're a people
like
person.
This offseason was crazy, bro. I got a DM from CD Lamb this offseason.
Wow.
And
Come
CD
on.
came down and trained with us, man. He said, hey, man, are you taking more clients on? I said, yeah, of course I am, bro.
That's
so
huge.
He was down training. I mean, Calvin Ridley, he trained with us for
I can't wait to see him this year. That guy's gonna ball this year with Lawrence, man. People don't sleep on that Jacksonville team.
We had so many top Pro Bowl NFL wide receivers that trained with us this year, man. We became wide receiver you know, and it was fun, you know. And again, these guys all hit me up on Instagram, you know, and you know, there's so many other guys that plan on coming down this summer, and it's because of social media and seeing the work that we do. I'm very transparent on there. I post all my workout. I post all the drills we do. It's not the end all be all of my drills. I make up drills every single day. It depends on the movement we're trying to work on, or the aspect of the game we're trying to improve. All my drills are different. They're always evolving and changing. So whatever I post, it's not like you're going to get the recipe, you know? And again, it's just building this and sticking to it and believing in it for years.
Randy Constance says he wants to lose 100 pounds. Do you have any tips to help drop weight at a great pace?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good tips. Exercise and make sure that you're in a caloric deficit every single day, which basically means figure out some sort of way to track how many calories you burn every single day and eat less than that every single day. It's 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound. So if you want to lose 1 pound every single week, which is a healthy way to lose weight, 100 pounds, that's 100 weeks, it's 2 years of work. You're gonna have to be in a 3,500 caloric deficit weekly. So which means I'm not a math guy, but that's 700 calories a day, right? 700, yeah. 700, no, 500 calories
500
a
a day times 7, yeah.
There you go. Seems not a math guy, I'm a muscle guy. You want to be in a 500 caloric deficit daily. So if you figure out that you consume 4,000 calories a day, you're going to have to burn 4,500 calories a day. Does that make sense? So it's really a math problem. So it's easy. Don't go do a lap band or gastro this or lipo. It's stupid. It never works. Change your lifestyle. You will see the weight drop. And eventually you'll get into a groove to where now you're really burning. You love working out. You're going to the gym twice a day. And you know what? You're not eating those sweets because you don't even like those sweets anymore. And now you're burning 5 pounds a week, 6 pounds a week, so on and so forth. So that's a great way to do it. Math.
But when you do want those sweets, go get a blueprint cookie. All right.
Go get a blueprint cookie.
There you go. Best chocolate chip cookie in South Florida.
Yes, sir.
Hammer
4
says
years and running.
That's impressive. Yeah. Hammer says, of players who come to you from college, which program do you feel has the best staff, support system, knowledge from what you can see?
Alabama for sure.
No hesitation, eh?
Alabama, yeah. I mean, Alabama coaches have sent players to us. I've never even talked to the strength coaches or any coaches at Alabama, but players that are in their team say, hey, look, I live in South Florida. Where would you recommend that I train? They always say perform. And those guys come, and those guys are already ahead of the pace. They're ahead of the schedule. So I'd say Alabama for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Absolutely. Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. Those 3 places, obviously, I mean, they're at the top of the top for a reason. Those 3 places, those guys are always a step above. Yes, I know that they're highly recruited, but they're big, they're strong, they're fast, they understand movements, they have their own mobility corrective exercise programs, they understand dynamic warm-ups and regen and refueling and hydrating and rest. Like, I don't have to pitch that shit to them because they get it. So those 3 programs, I'd say, are the top.
That's interesting. Josh Miller says, have you seen a big difference in the support for Tua from around the organization, guys like Greer and Marino under McDaniel compared to what it was under Flo?
I think those 2 guys that you named always loved Tua, always had Tua's back, always supported Tua. And the reason that Tua's still there is because of them.
Yeah. Marino's been, I was talking about this a couple of shows ago. It's been obvious. Marino's you can say what you wanted before prior draft. You can say Herbert, whatever. That's great. You could tell he's a very big Tua advocate.
Yeah.
We all saw him hugging him in the midst of that crap with Flo. We know whose side Marino chose. All right.
Yeah. And both those guys are for sure. They've always had his back. They love him.
Yeah.
They know he's the guy.
Good. And finally here, Scorpion King, what would you say is the biggest physical change or improvement you've noticed with Tua this offseason?
Physical change. Strength. But I think the most apparent change or change that sticks out to me is just his maturation and how he's changed as a man and has grown up as a man. And his mental fortitude towards adversity, which we all thought was amazing, right, during his second year and what he had to deal with trade rumors and whatnot. But I think just him, his maturation as a man and understanding the task at hand and knowing that things can be taken at any moment and not to take things for granted. I think that's something that's really going to put him over the edge this year. Because every single down, every single play, every practice, every film session, every sprint, everything that you do, it might be your last, So for me, it was that, it was very much so business than pleasure. for this offseason, you know?
Before we get out of here, bro, just 'cause, I wanted to talk about this earlier. You said something earlier to bring it up, but you just rehashed it in my head. Do you think he's really fueled? Because I remember one of the last things I remember this season was it him and Jeff Wilson that were in the
Raheem.
tunnel? Raheem were in the tunnel, right? And you got the sense they're like, we ain't missing this opportunity again.
Yep.
Do you think he's fueled by like, man, not only did we get the playoffs, he was a major reason why we're in the playoffs. Listen, people can say, I don't subscribe to the theory the receivers made Tua. I subscribe to the theory that Tua is their security blanket. I go back to the year before when Jacoby Brissett was in there. Waddle disappeared. You got this year.
Did Tyreek Hill score a touchdown without Tua under center?
Waddle and Tyreek Hill combined for 15 touchdowns with Tua, 0 in the 5 games he was not. And Waddle, he averaged 30 less yards per game without Tua in there.
Yeah.
Is he fueled by that, missing that playoff? Because he was a major reason we even had a playoff berth last year.
It wasn't missing the playoff. It was missing a snap. It was missing a game. It was not being out there for his teammates to go out there and win, and I think all of it, the entire season has fueled him.
Yeah, because we just got the sense that he really wanted to come back in those playoffs, and didn't look like if they would have allowed it. They weren't going to allow it. It wasn't
smart. It wasn't smart, man. And he's a warrior. He wants to play every single down. Doesn't matter what the doctors are saying. Sometimes you got to protect somebody from himself, and that's the Dolphins did that. So again, look, it's at the end of the day, it's manifesting that I'm not going to miss a game. I'm going to play 20. I'm going to do this the right way, and we're going to finish this thing how we know we can and we want to, and that's it. Just talking about all those things and not letting negative thoughts or energy kind of get in the way,
Yeah. Man, listen, I appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate you coming on here. You better make sure he throws down some Bruce Lee celebration, because we've already had the gun bang.
Yeah.
Now we need the jiu-jitsu pose. So you better make sure he throws it down. Listen, Nick, bro, I cannot wait to see the work you guys have put. I'm glad you haven't released videos, because I can't wait to just see your work speak for itself on the field from week 1 to the end of the season. Listen, we got a tough stretch right in that middle there with in 3 weeks, we got to face the 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl. And because of the work you've put in and because of where Tua is at right now, bro, I fear no team in the NFL. I don't care if you got Patrick Mahomes or nothing. So salute to you and thank you again, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, man.
So anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Your Twitter, your Instagram?
It's funny. I'm actually sitting here. I was drinking a beer and Miami Hops. He has all these awesome glasses, man. Shout out to my boy at Miami Hops, man. He sent me a lot of cool glasses, and he sends them for Tua. Tua loves them. This is the Uno card one. I thought it was cool. He's got a bunch of them, man. So shout out Miami Hops, man. There you go. Thanks for asking me about the plug, man. I'd love to plug my boy. So,
and don't forget to plug your cookies, my friend. People got to know.
Well, I mean, look, if you're in South Florida, if you're in Plantation, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, if you're in Boca, Blueprint Cookie is on and popping. We have 21 franchises actually in the works. And, man, we're going to be all over the place soon. So don't sleep on us. And then obviously Perform, the number 1 training facility in South Florida, in my eyes and many, many others. So if you are in the area, we're in Davie. Please come by, say hello, get a 3-day pass, try a free evaluation, try a free session, and let's get better.
Awesome, man. Again, thank you for coming on. Tomorrow, guys, I'm gonna probably be live around 5:30 before that Heat game pops off.
Woo, let's go.
Me and Neil will be live. So be on the lookout for that. Until next time, everyone, stay happy, stay safe, stay humble. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. And again, Nick, thank you for all you do. I really can't wait to see what you guys got up your sleeve this season. And as always, everyone, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. Let's get it, baby. I'll see all of y'all in the next one. Fins up, baby.
My man.